Hi everybody, this is Crystal. So today I'm going to show you how to make this summer top right here that my mannequin Emmy is wearing. I'll come up a little closer. She looks cool today with her sunglasses on. It's pretty hot here, so she had to wear her shades. It's got the open sleeves on the arms, on both sides. And the belt, you don't have to put the belt on. You've seen the picture of it without the belt. And you can wear this as a top, just like this. Emmy's just got a white tank top on underneath it. Or I think it would be good for a swimsuit cover. I do recommend, though, if you do make it for a swimsuit cover, maybe to use cotton. I think that'd be best if you're planning on being in the water, because it would absorb the water. But if you're just going to be hanging out on the beach, you know, this would be fine. But otherwise, it makes a really cute top. Emmy seems to be liking it. She's working it. It's a one size fits most, but I do give you the multiple so you can make it smaller or larger if you want, and it's quite easy to make. And the neckline there, you can also adjust that and make it not quite so large if you want. In the video, it's real easy to make the neckline shorter. You just come in a couple more spots and sew it instead of way back here. That's completely up to you. I wanted it to have a larger neckline, but that's it. So let's go ahead and get started on it. Okay, for this project I am using a Lion Brand shawl and a ball. It is a cotton acrylic blend, and it is a 4-weight. I think it's a little thinner. It's like it's a 4-weight, but it's like a thin 4-weight. But it's very pretty. There's 481 yards in each skein, and you're going to need almost 2 full skeins to finish this. The color I used is called Zen Azalea, and of course you can use any color that you wish. You don't have to use this yarn either. Any 4-weight yarn will work. But if you wanted to have the kind of a draping effect, I recommend this yarn. Or another one that would probably drape nicely would be Red Heart Unforgettable. Or even Caron Simply Soft would probably drape pretty well too. And if you're going to be using this, I think it would make a nice swimsuit cover. I'd recommend some type of soft 100% cotton for that. You don't have to, but that's just what I'd recommend. If you're going to be wearing it to cover a swimsuit, cotton would absorb the water a little better than acrylic, but that is completely up to you. So, but this is what I used, a 4-ply or a 4-weight cotton acrylic blend. And then I'm going to be using a size K, which is a 6.5mm crochet hook. Okay, you want to start off with the chain of 120 if you want to make it just like me. Now, if you want to make it bigger or smaller, this stitch is done in a multiple of 9 plus 3. But like for my size, I'm doing a chain of 120. Now, I already got my big piece done, so I'm going to show you on a smaller scale. But you want to go ahead and chain 120. And once you get your chain of 120 made, you want to go ahead and single crochet in the second stitch from the hook. Now remember, we never count the one that's on our hook. So 1, 2, in the second stitch, go ahead and put a single crochet. And then you're going to work 1 single crochet in every stitch for the length of the chain. Just like that. 1 single all the way to the end of the chain. Okay, when you make it to the end of your chain, you should have a total of 119 stitches now. So what we're going to do is chain 1 and turn our work. Now that chain 1 does not count as a stitch. It does not count as anything. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and double crochet right back into this very first stitch. We're going to put a double crochet into it. Just like that. Now we're going to start working our shells. So we're going to skip 4 stitches. Skip, 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 skip. And in the next one, we want to work a triple crochet. So skip 4, and then the next one we triple crochet. And then we're going to chain 2. And we're going to go back into the same stitch and double crochet. And then we're going to chain 2, go back into the same stitch again, double crochet, chain 2, one more time, double crochet, chain 2, and then we finish our shell by triple crocheting into the same stitch. So that is what our shell consists of. It's a triple, a chain 2, a double, a chain 2, a double, a chain 2, a double, a chain 2, and a triple. So now we're going to skip 8 stitches now. So skip 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And in the next one, we're going to do our shell again. So we're going to triple crochet. We don't chain 2 after this last triple crochet of this last shell. We just go ahead and do triple crochet and go in. We skipped 8, go into the next one, and triple crochet again. And then we chain 2. Go back into the same stitch, double crochet, chain 2, same stitch, double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, chain 2, and then triple crochet, all that into that same stitch, and that completed our next shell. So it was triple, chain 2, double chain 2, double chain 2, double chain 2, triple. Now again, we're going to skip 8 stitches again. Skip, 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 skip. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Excuse me. And the next one, you want to go ahead and do your shell. So triple crochet, chain 2, double crochet, chain 2, double, chain 2, double, chain 2, and then triple. And then again, that's our next shell. And then you would skip 8 again, do a shell, skip 8, do a shell, and you want to repeat that until you get to the last, till you get to where you can't repeat anymore. You should have 5 stitches left. So keep repeating that until you get to the end. Okay, when you make it to the end of your row, you should have a total of 13 shells. Now remember, I did mine smaller just to show you how to do it, but you should have 13, and you should have 5 stitches that remain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You want to skip 4, and in the last stitch after your last shell, double crochet right there into that last stitch. Just like that. Remember, you'll have 13 shells. So now we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. Now we're going to double crochet right back into this very first stitch. Now this row that we're doing right now is the repeat row for the rest of the pattern. So you double crochet right back into that same stitch, like that. Now we're going to do a shell again, but what we're going to do is we're going to do a shell into the middle double crochet of the next shell. So here's the 2 triples, and then you can see the 3 doubles. We're going to do our shell in the top of the middle one. So go ahead and grab that one, and we start off by triple crocheting right into the top of it, and then we chain 2 in the same stitch, double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, chain 2, and then 1 triple. All that into the top of that middle double crochet. So it's just a shell on top of a shell. It's actually really easy. So we just jump over to the next shell, and we find our middle double crochet, which is right here, and we do another shell right in the top of that stitch. So we start by triple crocheting right into the top of it, and then chain 2, double, chain 2, double, chain 2, double, chain 2, and then a triple. So that's our shell again. Triple, 2 triples on the ends, and 3 doubles in the middle with chain 2s in between. It's super easy. So we move to our next shell, and again we're going to shell into the middle double crochet. So this one right here, right on top of it. So go ahead and grab it, and then we triple crochet, chain 2, double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, chain 2, and triple. Now you want to just keep repeating that, putting a shell in the middle stitch of the shell from the previous row until you reach the end of the row. And when you reach the end, you should have 13 shells still. You should always have 13 shells. And when you make it to the end, you just want to finish by putting a double crochet into the top of this double crochet here on the end. So go ahead and yarn over, go right into the top of that double crochet, and double crochet. So that's the repeat row. That's what we do for the rest of the pattern. So we'll do it again. We chain 1 and turn, double crochet right back into the very first stitch, shell in the middle stitch of the next shell. So we triple crochet, find that middle double, go right on top of it, triple, chain 2, double, chain 2, double, chain 2, double, chain 2, and then triple. Just like that, and you see our shells, they start to line up. Shell into the middle stitch of the next shell, so this middle double crochet here, triple crochet, chain 2, double, chain 2, double, chain 2, double, chain 2, and triple. Again, we jump to our next shell and do the same thing again. Find your middle stitch and work a shell right into the top of it. So we triple, chain 2, double, chain 2, double, chain 2, double, chain 2, and then triple. And you just keep repeating that until you get to the end of your row. And again, you should have 13 shells when you make it to the end. And then when you get to the end, double crochet into the top of this last double crochet here. Just like that. Chain 1 and turn and repeat. And that's all there is to it, really. It's pretty easy. Now you want to keep repeating that row until you have a total of 28 rows of shells. So I got 3 here, 1, 2, 3. You want to do a total of 28 rows. Remember, and there'll be 13 across, 13 shells in each row, 28 rows long. Now you can do it longer or shorter depending on how long or short you want it. But if you do it any longer than what I'm doing it, you're probably going to need another skein of yarn, because I won't have much left when I'm done with mine. But you can do it as long as you want. But if you want to follow me, you do 28 rows of these shells. Okay, got your 28 rows done. You want to make 2 panels exactly the same. So you can see I got my 28 rows of shells. I don't have a lot of space here to show you, but it's 28 rows. That's what you want to do. You just tie off at that last row after you do your last double crochet there. And you want 2 pieces exactly the same. So I got one here, and I already did my other one also. So now we're going to put them together and we're going to sew them up. So what we're going to do is, let me look at my piece here. Our first row at the top of double crochet, we're going to make one side. This side is facing the wrong way. That row of double crochet at the top is facing up. The wrong way of it is facing up. So lay it out like that. Now the other one, the row of single crochet at the top, you make the right side of it facing up. It really isn't that important that you do this. I mean, if you can't tell the difference, it's fine. I know it's kind of hard to tell, but you can see there's the right side of the single crochet row, and if you look, you can see the back. That's the wrong side. So you want the bottom piece, the wrong side, to be facing up of the single crochet row, and the top piece, you want the right side of the single crochet row to be facing up, and get it all lined up. And remember, it's not that important. If you can't get that, no one's even going to build. I notice it probably. I'm probably really just being too picky about it. But so we're going to start making the, get it all lined up here. And we're going to be using our yarn needle a lot now to sew this up. So I want to put a little, sew up the corner a little bit on each side. So I'm going to take a piece of my yarn and my yarn needle. If you have a long tail or something that you think will work, that's fine too. But I'm going to sew up each of the corners at the top before we make the neck hole. So grab the corners and line them up. And go ahead and go right through them. We're working through the row of single crochet. You want to sew not over, but back and forth, just through like the first 2 stitches. I'm going to do that several times here so it doesn't come undone. Now we're only working through 2 stitches, back and forth through 2 stitches. This is going to be part of the arm. Once you feel like it's tight enough and you don't think it's gonna come undone, you can hide that tail. Both tails actually, you want to hide the one that you started with and then this one. So I'm gonna kind of weave it in a little bit. And then back through this. We're only sewing up a tiny point here at the end. That's all we're doing. It's just part of the arm. It'll come together. Right now I'm just trying to kind of hide this tail up. Okay, and then you want to hide your other one. But we're going to do the same thing to the other side also. So let me hide this tail. Just kind of weaving it through here. I love showing the ball, but sometimes it's not always the easiest to work with, but man, is it pretty. I think so. I think it makes a very pretty women's tops. It's so drapey. I'm going to go ahead. This is my tail from when I first started my row. I'm going to go ahead and hide that while I'm hiding tails here. While I'm at it. Just hide that the same way. Just right here around the corner here. You can hide it as good as you want to. Mine's kind of, I don't always hide mine the best because mine's kind of just for tutorial purposes. It's pretty good though. Now cut them ends off. Okay, now once you got you can see it's just a couple stitches there at the top corner that's sewed together nice and tight. Now you want to do the same thing to the other side. So get it lined up here. And sew this one the same way. Just through a couple stitches here. First 2 stitches. And this is part of our sleeve. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this up, and I'm going to hide these tails off, and then we'll start sew up the neck hole. Okay, I got the other corner kind of sewed up just the same way. It's a couple stitches there in the corner. Now we're going to do the neck hole. So let me spread out my piece here so you can see it better. Okay, we're going to count in 4 shells. So 1 on both pieces. So make sure they're lined up. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this is where we're going to sew it together on the 4th shell. So you take your yarn needle and your piece of yarn, and you see this hole here where the 4th shell went into, and there'll be the same one on the back. Let's sew it together right through that hole and through the stitches, through the single crochet on top of it. So kind of just go like that, and then through the single crochets, the one single crochet that's on top. So we're not really going over, we're going through on both pieces. We're going through that hole that the shell's in, and then go on the back, we're going through the single crochets, that one single crochet that's on top of the shell. Now it doesn't have to be exact, just kind of try to get it the best that you can. And you want to do that several times until that's sewed up nice and tight. Back and forth. Through that hole down there, and then through the single crochet. And now you can see that this is going to be the armhole. Of course, we'll clean up these edges later with some single crochet. It's not the armhole, that's this will be on the top part of your arm. We'll make the armholes down here. So go ahead and go through that, get it nice and tight, and then hide your tails. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. So I'm going to go ahead and get them tails hidden nice and tight so they're not going to come undone. Weave them in there good. So I'm going to go ahead and weave these tails in, and we'll do the other side real quick. Okay, so we got that sewed on, and this is kind of what it looks like so far here. I know it's hard to see, but you got the corner sewed up here, and then this is part of the neck hole. So we're going to come over to the other side. Here's our corner that we sewed up over here. We're going to count 4 shells in, so on both pieces. 1, line them up, 2, 3, and 4. And on that 4th shell, we're going to sew it up just like we did the other side. So we go through the hole the shells in on both pieces, and then back through the single crochet that's on top of both pieces. And remember, just do it the best that you can, but you want to do it several times until it's nice and tight. And don't worry about it looking a little bit rough now. We will clean it up, I promise. So I'm going to finish doing this and hide my tails. And then we'll start cleaning up the top real quick before we start sewing up the sides. Okay, I got them both sewed up there. So we got the big neck hole because it's meant to drape a bit. Like that. So now I'm gonna go back to my hook and to my yarn. And I'm going to clean up these edges with, I'm going to go around the neck part first, from this point where we sewed around the front here to the next point that we sewed, and then around the back with single crochet. So you can start anywhere you want. I'm just going to start over here in the corner where we sewed, where we first started sewing up. I'm going to go in that same spot. And I'm going to pull my yarn through, and I'm going to chain 1. Now I'm going to go into the same spot, and also the same spot on the back. So the same spot that we were sewing in on the back piece. And again, it doesn't have to be extremely exact. Just do the best that you can to try to hit that back stitch that we were sewing up earlier. Single crochet, like that. Now I'm going to separate the 2 pieces. We just single crocheted those 2 together. Now I'm going to work 1 single crochet in every stitch here across the front. And this is what's going to clean up this neck edge. Stitch count don't really matter, just do the best that you can to try to hit every stitch. This yarn is it's really forgiving. If you make a mistake, it's actually probably not noticeable at all, as long as it's not a huge mistake. So you want to work over until you get to where you sewed up the other part of the neck hole. All the way over to here. Okay, I've made it to where these two pieces are sewn together again. I'm just going to go through right through both of the single crochets that we sewed them together with, the one on the front and the one on the back. Just try to hit it the best that you can, and then single crochet. Now I'm going to flip it and start working along the back. So I'm just going to jump to this stitch here and single crochet, and now this is going to clean up just one single crochet in every stitch, just like we did across the front. And this is going to clean up this back edge. And you can see that made that neck hole. By doing it that way, it's all nice and clean looking. So I'm going to continue working, putting one single crochet in every stitch along the back of my piece, all the way across the back until we get over here to where we started our single crochet on the front here. I'm going to work all the way over here to the back. Okay, I've made it back around to my starting point. Now I started right over here in front. I'm right behind the stitch that I started. What I want to do is just jump right on over to that very first single crochet that we made and slip stitch into it. So we're jumping from the back to the front to the first single crochet that we made, slip stitch in, and then you can clip that off, hide that tail, and then we're going to do the same thing on this part of the armholes that we made. Just going to go around them and clean them up. So let's start. I'm going to start over here in the corner. Since we just grab the two stitches that you can grab here on the end. Very last one, if you can get it on both, if not the second to the last. Doesn't have to be perfect. Go through both of them, chain one, go back into the same stitch, single crochet. Now we separate and we start going along this piece only, working one single crochet in every stitch until we get over here to the start of our neck hole. Remember, this is our arm, the top portion of our arm. Okay, I'm coming up over here. This is where our neck hole starts, so. It's going to be a bit of a okay, we've made it over here to where this is where the neck hole starts. You can see that. What we want to do is grab, see these first 2 single crochets here, go through them both like that, and slip stitch like that, and then flip your work around. That way it's connected to the neck. It doesn't look like it's separated any. Turn it back around, turn it to the other side, and then continue single crocheting along the back side of the arm, top of the arm piece. And remember, I can't stress enough, it doesn't have to be perfect. Because I know these stitches are extremely hard to see. Sometimes this yarn isn't the easiest to work with, but I did say that it is very forgiving if you miss stitches. So I'm going to continue working. So that is what we got there. As you can see that it's hooked together there. The edges are all cleaned up. So I'm going to continue along the back side until I get back over here to my starting point. Okay, I haven't made it to the end here, and what I want to do, I'm on the back side, I just want to jump to the front and slip stitch into my first single crochet, just like we did for the neck hole. And then we want to hide, clip that yarn, hide that tail, and then we do the same thing to the other top of the arm piece. So I kind of pull it out and you look. So those edges are all nice and cleaned up. So here's your neck hole right here. And right here is the top of the arm, which your top of your arm will be exposed. Now after you do the other side over here, exactly the same way, go around that, clean up all the edges. All it's left to do is sew up the sides. Go ahead and do that real quick. Show you how. Now you can leave as big as of a space that you need for your armhole. But I'm going to use a yarn needle and a piece of yarn. And I'm just going to neatly sew up the side. Both sides the same. So I have the right side of my work facing me. We've had it facing us the whole time. I am going to leave 11 shells open for the armhole. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And I'm going to work on my 12th one. Now you can leave as many as you want, or as few as you want. So I got a pretty nice size armhole. So the only most important part of this is to make sure you keep your shells lined up the whole way down, so it doesn't look off at all. So make sure you count and you skip however many you're skipping. I'm skipping 11. 1, 2, 3, 10, 11. Okay. Make sure it's the same on both sides. And you just grab your pieces. I'm starting on my 12th shell right here. All I'm going to do is sew it up. Not back and forth, which you could do if you wanted to. I'm going to go, or not over the top. You could do that if you wanted. I'm going to neatly go back and forth. And just remember, it's very important to keep the shells lined up. And I'm just going through these double crochets here on the side. That's what I'm sewing it up with. And I'm going to do this all the way down on both sides. Every once in a while you have to make sure and look that your shells are staying lined up. I kind of like to put my fingers in between the double crochets like that. That way I know my shells are staying lined up. Now once you go down it, If you want to go back up it again to ensure that it's tight, that's fine too. But just sew it up as neatly as you can, all the way down. Just make sure your shells are always lined up. Otherwise, when you come to the bottom, your piece isn't going to be even. So I'm going to work all the way down, sewing this side up, and then I'm going to go to the other side and sew it up. Now remember, you could leave as many spaces open that you wanted for your armhole, just depending on, you know, the size of your armhole. The size of your arm. You could have left more or less, you know, that was up to you. So I'm going to finish. See, we're getting it all sewed up now. Slowly but surely. I'm going to go all the way down this side, all the way down to the bottom. And I'm going to go to the other side, and I'm going to skip my 11 shells and start on my 12th one. Sew it up too, and then we'll have our armholes done. Okay, once you get both sides sewed up, which I did, all the way down to the bottom, hide all your tails. You got both parts of your arm portion cleaned up and your neck portion cleaned up, and that is it. That's all there is to it. I hope you enjoyed my tutorial. Now you can wear this probably a lot of ways, under a tank top, or over a bathing suit, under a t-shirt, or over a t-shirt, put a belt around it, you know, however you want to wear it. It's probably pretty versatile. Just whatever you think. Either side that you like better, you can put in the front. They both look pretty good. So that's it. That's all there is to it. I hope you're able to follow along okay. If you make this or anything else, I'd really like to see a picture of it. You can post a picture on my Bagoday Crochet Facebook page. I'll put a link to that below in the description box. And also, please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. And check out all my other tutorials. I have hundreds of them on YouTube. And until next time, have a good day.